Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here, and welcome to my 100% full game walkthrough for COCOON, one of the highest rated indie games of the entire year, also available in Xbox Game Pass. In this video, which is going to be roughly around 2 hours, I'm going to be taking you through the entire game, all of its puzzles, all of its optional collectibles, in order to get you a 100% full completion. Now, this video is going to be likely around 2 hours, but if you were to play this game going in and just enjoying it on your own, because it is a puzzle game, you may find yourself playing closer to 5 or 6 hours. I'll also be making sure we grab all of the optional Moon Ancestor collectibles, and I'll be explaining all of the puzzles and the solutions as we play. This is, so far, one of my favorite games of the year. I'm really enjoying going through it. It's beautifully simple, but is just incredible at telling its story and presenting these puzzles that are really enjoyable and just kind of easy to figure out, but puts your mind to the test just a little bit. The controls are simple. You move around with the left stick, and all of the interacting you do on Xbox is with the A button. That's the only thing you need to do in this game. You're obviously free to explore and look around, but if you're following this video, I'll be mostly going through the main story path in order to save time. Head down to the bottom of the screen, down the stairs, which will disappear behind you, and continue along the path. Here you'll notice that there is a node, and you'll interact with everything in this game with the A button, so interact with the node in order to create a staircase into the next area. This is mostly like a tutorial to kind of teach you how these things work. If we then proceed through the canyon, we will end up at another node here. And this node, you can see it's connected through the little rocks to the door, and that's just a little bit of a clue to let us know that interacting with this will open the door to the next area. Here we also have a ball. You can interact with it to grab it, and this is a switch which you can move from left to right by dragging it across the sand, revealing our next little platform, dropping the ball, and then going onto the platform in order to move to the next area. There are 11 Moon Ancestors, which are the optional secret collectibles, but I'll show you them as we come across them. Here you can just begin to move forward and move onto the platform, interact with the platform to ride across. In order to complete this puzzle, you'll have to activate the platform again and exit through the bottom as it's moving. This allows you to bring the top platform back to yourself and ride across to the other side. We can then move forward, and here we'll have to hold the A button to interact with this elevator that brings us to the top. And then you'll notice we have to interact with this thing on the right to open up the door in front of us, as they are linked through these little pebbles and stones in the sand. But we can't do that quite yet. We'll have to go through the only option available, which is the path on the left. Going through here will lock us into this area until we can figure out a way out and back. So the only thing we can do is go into this central little pedestal area, and you activate it by just running past these little windmill type things to open it up in the middle. This works as a little bit of a portal to a hub world. You wouldn't really know that yet unless I'm telling you, but this is almost like a hub world that we can use to travel between the different colored areas. The first area being the orange area, and you'll be revealed with the orange orb here in front of you, which you can grab after this kind of short little cutscene, so to say. If you do prefer to play this game completely by yourself and you only want to know where the missable things are, I will have a video posted to the YouTube channel the day after this video comes out showing only the Moon Ancestor collectible locations guide. Grab the orb and escort it down the ramp, turn to the right at the bottom, and here we can start moving it to where we need to take it. Go up the stairs on the outer ring here, and you can place it in this holder. Because it's orange, it will reveal the orange bridges. With this orb revealing the bridges, you can now safely walk across to the next area. Go up onto this pedestal that can move as you enter. This will let you ride across and go back to where the orb was placed. This allows us to now grab the orb and bring it into the next area without using the colored bridge. My goal with this video is not to make it a speed run. I'm trying to make sure that you're able to keep up as a viewer as I play, so hopefully I'm not going too fast for you. But don't be embarrassed if you're struggling or you can't figure out a puzzle. I've played through this game before, so I know exactly what to do at every step. Take the orb off the platform and go across to the other side, placing the orb inside the tube, which will make it go through the tubes and exit out the other side of the gate opening the gate for us to pass through. Pass through, and let's go and grab that orb again. We're going to basically do another little slide puzzle, but this time you'll notice that if you stand on these little sensors, you can adjust the tubes so that the orb will be able to move in a specific direction. We're going to be escorting this orb all the way down to the bottom, so go all the way to the top of the stairs. Once you put the orb in the little slide puzzle, you want to go and stand on the sensors so that the orb takes all of the possible turns. If you do make a mistake, it's really not an issue, as the orb will pop out. You can then go and grab it and just bring it back to the top to retry. If you do take the last turn correctly, the orb will make it across the gap, revealing a bridge that we're now able to cross, picking up the orb on the other side of the bridge so we can bring it with us. Bring the orb with you, and what you can do is you can put the orb in the left or the right. Let's start with the right. This will basically move the gates left to right, and then taking the orb out will unpower them and open them. And what we just need to do is we need to align the front gate and the back gate. So now that I have the front gate somewhere near the middle, I can move the orb to the other side. We're going to wait for that gate to move in front of the other gate and open it up so there's enough of a gap so that we can cross through. I'm unable to cross through, unfortunately, so let's just try to align that a little bit better on this second turn. That should be good, and make sure you bring your orb with you. These little platforms basically shoot you up into a new area, so if you're going to use them, you often can't back travel to where we came from. In this new area, you can place this orb inside of this thing to open up the little onion, but that just lets you teleport back and forth from the hub world. We actually need to figure out what to do in the hub world so we can get to the next area we want. So we're going to go onto this platform on the left, place the orb down, and let this platform take you across to the far left. Here, leave the orb behind and walk into the next area. You'll be locked in until you figure out this puzzle. So this may be one of the first places you get stuck, and that is a-okay. All you'll need to do is see this tower in the bottom left corner. You'll notice that there are symbols on it, and those symbols correspond with the little windmill things that you can interact with by running into them. And we'll just need to put them in a specific order in order to unlock. So you'll see that the symbol at the top here is the circle, and then if we pull the ball, we'll reveal the other ones. After the circle is the butterfly. After the butterfly is the upside down pentagon. So let's do that. Circle, butterfly, upside down pentagon. Now let's reveal the last two so we know the correct order. After the upside down pentagon is the circle with the cross through it, and then the upside down triangle. So let's input those, and hopefully it opens up. Just make sure you're putting them in the right order based on their order in the tower, and if you want a fun fact, you can actually do them in reverse order, and it will still work. Then you can stand on the middle pedestal, hold the interact button to reveal a little friend that will be able to guide you to the next area. He'll be able to take down these walls that lock us in rooms, and we'll be able to get access to our first kind of mini boss battle. Go back onto the platform and ride it back down to the quote-unquote onion. Put the ball in the little holder, which will open it up. Once it's opened up, the orange orb will come back out, and you can put it in. It will reveal an orange puddle in this middle area, and this is how we can travel between different colored worlds. With the orb here, just hold A, and you'll teleport back to the orange world. This time you'll have your little friend with you that can take care of the gate we had a problem with earlier. So let's start running backwards, and it'll take down this these little pillars that locked us in here. And then we can run down and into this large gate. Run towards this kind of purple-blue object in the right corner. You'll notice that the triangle matches a triangle. So this little orb will go inside and open the giant gate in front of us. We can now proceed to the next area. Once the bridge is lowered, you can walk forward in front of you. Keep to the left here. Keep to the left. And instead of going forward, keep to the left even more, and then end up back down here. You'll notice that there are some tracks in the sand that lead to this, which is a platform. grab the ball, and you can take the platform all the way to basically create a bridge that you can now walk across. Once in place, let go of the ball and walk across your newly created bridge to a launching platform that basically won't allow us to now go back to where we came from. Grab the ball, which will bring you up to the next area, and let go. And here we can find our first moon ancestor. If you pause the game, you can press load and see what percentage you're at. The percentage goes quite quickly at the beginning of the game, but later on the chapters get longer. So it'll say 14%, and this is where you can find your first collectible by walking forward and staying to the left in this little fork in the road. Go all the way down and past all of this into this area, interacting with the markings on the ground to reveal your first moon ancestor. This should also unlock the Off the Beaten achievement for you if you're playing on Xbox. 10 more of those to go, and it'll wrap up beautifully at the end. Continue along the only path you can. You'll notice these kind of bee-type creatures that lead you into this middle area. And you can try to go left and right, but the game won't actually let you. What you need to do is go forward across the bridge to basically your first boss battle. This boss battle isn't too bad. It's quite simple as long as you figure it out. You'll notice that there is this little digging item in the ground, and if you interact with it, it should reveal a bomb. You can grab this item, hold A, and the bomb will explode. We'll need to do this a total of 3 or 4 times to take care of this boss. Now, the boss only has a couple of moves. It will try to charge at you in a straight line. All you want to do is stay as far away from it as possible. It will also launch the kind of bees at you, and once they hit you, you have to interact with them to take them off of your wings. And what you're waiting for is you're waiting for the next bomb to appear on the bottom or top of the screen here. So I'm going to grab this bomb, making sure I don't get hit, and I'm going to use it to basically get through the phases of this boss. I believe you'll need to hit it 3 times until it starts kind of the next phase. And I think it might go faster and faster, but it's really not too bad. And if you do unfortunately get hit, you'll be teleported back to kind of the hub world, which isn't a big deal, but will require you to kind of run back and restart the boss battle. So this is exactly what it looks like when you're hit by the boss. You'll go to the hub world and just go back through the puddle and into the boss battle. Luckily, it saves your progress, so this isn't really going to be that difficult. You can kind of keep retrying and retrying and retrying until you're done. You do sometimes really want to look for an opening when the boss takes a quick break. If you try to grab the bomb too quickly, you'll often find that he'll rush you immediately, so you really want to wait until he kind of stops. After I think 3 bombs, he'll end up going to the center of the area for his final phase. Another thing you may notice is that if the boss hits a bomb while you're not holding it, the bomb will be destroyed. So that's going to be pretty important because you don't want the bombs destroyed. You're just going to be having to last longer and longer in the boss battle. Once the boss is in the middle, this is kind of his final phase. This is mostly about movement and patience. So watch out for these spiky bits, and the spiky bits will move. The pattern is pretty easy to get a hold of. Just kind of be patient and try to stay as far away as possible from any of the spiky bits. I don't know what happens if you get hit by them, but it's very likely you get teleported back to the hub world where you'll need to just come back and try again. Now that the bomb is available, you'll want to go and grab it. So just be careful and go to the bomb. When you have an opening, grab the bomb and explode it. That is the conclusion of this first boss battle. So not too bad if you ask me. I was much more successful on my first attempt than when I'm recording for this video. After the boss battle, you'll reveal this new platform, which will take us to the new areas of our hub world. So use the platform to teleport to that hub world. This will allow us to now access new areas. So now you'll have the orange orb kind of completely fulfilled, so to say. And you can now hold it, and it will guide you through a new mechanic that we haven't yet experienced. And we can use that to activate the bridge on the right-hand side, also earning an achievement along the way called Pathfinder, which I don't think you can miss. Now, these paths, there seems like a lot of dead ends, and there are a lot of dead ends, so we're not going to actually explore all of them. But if you go through this far, far left, you'll end up going across all the way, and then you'll be able to go here, and you'll be able to place the orb at the end. And what you want to do is you want to grab the ball, and you want to move the platform we'll be taking all the way to the top of the screen. Now you can take the orb, and we can go and explore these paths that we weren't able to previously see. What we're trying to do is hang along the left-hand side until we get to the little platform that we can interact with. And you'll notice that this will rotate the little platform there. We want to rotate it 3 times so that it's pointing to the bottom left of the screen. This will now allow us to backtrack all the way to the platform mover, place the orb back down, and we're going to move the platform all the way to the bottom of the screen now. We can then grab the orb, and we can now go through this path. You would have done a little bit of trial and error, but this now connects the path that was not previously connected. Once you come down here, you want to go to the right-hand side, and we can activate this little node, which will bring the elevator over and across for us. We're going to do something similar to the last time we rode an elevator like this one. We're actually going to press the node, and we're going to hitch a ride on the way back. There's a little bit of timing involved here, but it's pretty easy to squeeze on through. This will get you to the next platform where you can interact with it in order to get shot across the gap. And I think you actually can't return to where we came from for a while here, so let's go and follow the path to the right. Here you'll come back to an onion, but this onion needs 2 of the orbs in order to be activated. So let's go and find the other orb by going to the platform on the right and hitching a ride across. You can then take the orb and put the orb into the holder. This reveals a path into an area, and there is a puzzle here. There's a large door connected by these 2 push plates. And you'll notice that there are 2 items that we can grab and move towards the push plates. We do have to start with the one on the far left. I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you how long it took me to realize the solution to this puzzle. But you want to grab the little walker guy on the far left, and you want to walk him back almost all the way to this pipe here. Once you let him go, he'll start running back to where he came from, and you can grab the next ball and move it. And what you're trying to do is time it so that both of the walkers stand on both of the push plates at the same time. So I'm going to let go right now, and hopefully they both hit their little push plates at the same time, allowing me to activate my door. Once the door is open, you'll notice the green hint of the orb in front of us, so you can go ahead, walk up, and snatch it. The first orb we got was obviously orange, and the next one we're going to grab is green. Wait for the little interaction here in order to grab the green orb, and we can use it to head on back to an area in the hub world, revealing our next part of the story. Okay, once you're ready, grab that green orb, head back down the stairs, and we're going to backtrack a little bit. We're going to go up the stairs we came from when we entered this area. We're going to put the green orb on the platform we can take back, but make sure you bring the orange orb with you. You want both orbs back to the center area. Once you're back across, you want to place both of the orbs into the little connector areas. I don't believe it matters which one goes where, so we're going to put orange in the close one and green on the far one. If you power up both of the rings, it will open up this object, revealing the middle. Once the middle is revealed, we can now, use the orange one to travel back to the orange area, or we can use the green one to travel to a new green area. So let's put the orange one in and teleport through. If you want to do a quick pause check, You may notice that the game says we're about 22% of the way through. Now, the game does a really great job of teaching you all these mechanics, but because I know all the solutions, I get to kind of skip a couple of steps. You're going to need to grab the orange orb and bring it into the green orb with you. This kind of orb sharing thing is going to happen quite a bit in this game, and what actually is one of the key mechanics that actually makes it so cool. With the orange orb inside of the green world, you can now go and activate this little platform. I called it an elevator earlier. Sometimes I use the wrong word if I'm focusing too much on the gameplay and not enough on the commentary. So we'll try to make sure to call things by their proper name. Once you get across the platform, grab the orb and continue through. Here you'll notice that this is blocked. We'll need a little light buddy to get us through. So we're going to basically do the reverse of what we're doing now. We're going to go inside of the orange world using the green orb. So put the green orange orb, make the puddle, grab the green orb, and now go inside. Here we now have access to this left side path, which we didn't have access to before. You can then head across. Go across the platform here. And once you head inside, we're going to have to figure out this little puzzle. This one's not too bad. All you would need to do is stand out here on the far end of the cliff and input the little windmills in order from left to right. So we're going to do the kind of square, pentagon, triangle, square, pentagon, triangle, and then we know that it's butterfly is last, which makes the circle the fourth one, so we're going to do circle, butterfly. I'm pretty sure this one you might also be able to do in reverse order. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't tested all of them, but some of them are possible in reverse order, which is a very cool mechanic. This will get you a little light buddy, which you can now use to get across the next gate, which we weren't able to get across before. So head back into the kind of hub world by backtracking to the teleporter. And make sure you bring the green orb with you. You'll obviously need it. We'll actually come back to this area again later on in the game, but for now, we're going to go into the green world while holding the orange orb. It's really cool. You can actually see a representation of the orb colors inside of the worlds if you leave the orbs inside. That's going to be happening pretty soon here, but we can use our light buddy to now get across this unbreakable wall, and we now have access to a bridge we weren't able to get to before. And here will be our next little secret collectible moon ancestor. Instead of walking straight, it's pretty obvious, but there is a secret path to the left here, and you can get into this somewhat secret area. You would think these would be these tough, difficult puzzles, but these are about as easy as they get in some instances. Just go up these stairs on the left-hand side and interact with the ruins on the ground to release the moon ancestor and grab the achievement. We can then backtrack to the main path. This one is a little bit more off the main route, and they do get harder, but that one is pretty hard to miss in my opinion. Now, this is a new mechanic, and this one is actually pretty fun to do. You'll notice that there are these kind of sticky glue guys that will eat up your little flying guy. So we're going to need him to get across because the path is blocked. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to put the orb in this little power ball that moves these guys. We can then go to the beginning. If this light guy is ever destroyed, none of these things have official names, so I'm just inventing all the names. But if this light guy is destroyed, he should respawn on that little, like, platform. And then you can grab him and grab the orange orb to unpower the glue trap. And then you can now finally get across. Don't worry, the puzzles get more and more complicated as we play. If you're still figuring these out, you'll probably get stuck a little bit later, as I did. All right, now that we are in here, what we can do is we can go up the platform to the right-hand side. Here you'll notice there's a teleporter. And here you'll notice that there is the little glue trap where you can place the orb, which does destroy our little light friend. But what you can do is place the orb down and then go through the teleporter back to the hub world. You can actually see the enemies reflected in the puddle, which is really cool. Inside of the green orb, you can actually see that our orange orb is in there now. And you can teleport back to the green world. Very exciting little mechanic. And you can now grab the orb and you can just move on. You don't have to worry about leaving your light guy behind. You can then place him automatically inside of this left area, and he should open up the main door for us here. Make sure you're bringing that orange orb with you, obviously. Just past this door, we actually have our next Ancestor Moon collectible. Go forward and interact with the node so that the bridge points to the bottom left-hand corner. This will reveal a secret path that we wouldn't have found any other way. If you follow this path, you'll end up getting out into a new area. And then once you drop down that ramp, you want to go up and to the top of the screen to find your Ancestor Moon, interacting with it to unlock the achievement, one step closer to our 100% completion. This one is called Mesh Network. You can then start navigating your way back towards where we came from, and you want to go back to the node that rotates the bridge. When you're there, you want the bridge to point to the top left of the screen. This allows it to be rotated in the correct position to make further story progress. And that should get you up top here. Then you want to place the orb to move the two doors all the way to the end of their paths. Pick up the orb and sprint through before you get locked out. Then what you want to do is here you want to put the orb inside of the little chute. Almost forgot what we're doing here. And the orb will meet you on the other side. So you can then pick it up without any issues. Go up to this little teleporter, and you can put the orb inside of here. But actually what we're going to do is, we're going to put the orb down, and we're going to go through this teleporter here. And then what we can do is we can go back into the green world. I might have done one extra step, but it's okay. Pick up the orb, and then go through the teleporter into the hub world. Place the orange orb on one of the pedestals and head back into the green world. And now you can go through the gate, which was too thin and narrow, to the other teleporter. You can now grab the orange orb and bring it out. So you now have the orange orb at the end of the path. Here you can go right and you can go left. We're going to go left. Going right doesn't really result in anything right now. We'll go there later. So just continue on to the left here for a bit. There will be some dead ends, so feel free to explore them and check them out, but they don't lead anywhere for now. Instead, you want to go up and to the left, place the orb in the middle, and pull the sphere in order to rotate the platform for yourself. And once you do that, you can re-grab the orange orb and continue down the path here. Just want to make sure we're not missing anything. But once you get down on here into the left, head up the stairs and then past this little sculpture thing, and you'll land on a push plate that'll launch you into the next section. Here, it might seem like you can explore a bunch of things, but none of this stuff really works. The only thing we want to care about is to activate this teleporter. Don't go inside of it. You can place the orb to extend the bridge, and this bridge extends itself into a little bit of a boss battle, which is a little bit tricky, honestly, and I do have a couple tricks to make it as easy as possible for you. What you want to do is you want to notice that there are these red orbs. If you pull on them and stretch, they will become these kind of flying water spouts automatically. If you fly with the water spout over the boss and it's glowing red, you can press A to smack it into the boss as a little bit of a bomb. As for phases here, they are pretty simple. The boss will either try to attack you, and you want to try to lure him into the bomb. This will just release the bomb for you, and then you can grab it later. so it doesn't actually like explode on contact. And after you release the bomb, you want to pull it out, become the water spout, wait for the boss to go back to the center and destroy them. But watch out for these purple dudes who have like a little bit of tracking. I like sticking near the bottom of the screen when I can because I find it's easier to dodge those enemies, but it is what it is. I believe in the second and third phase, the boss has a new attack, which is to try to suck you in. Just make sure you are running away from the boss when it's doing this, and you shouldn't have any issues getting stuck. Like the previous boss, if you do get hit, it's really not a big deal. You're just teleported to the hub world and can try again. As I did right there. So let's just head right back into that boss battle. It's amazing. I've done both of those boss battles previously. I did on my first try, and now that I'm recording this video for you guys, they're not going as well for me. So you now want the boss to destroy the little pillars until one of them is glowing red. I believe it gets easier the more and more times you get destroyed. But if you are able to clear one of the red orbs into the flying water spout, and then you have to dodge the purple enemies again and spray the boss to open it up, attack it with the bomb. I think you're going to have to do this like 4 or 5 times, so just rinse and repeat. I think on this attempt, there will be a little bit of the sucking attack, so watch out. Luckily for me, I think the orb was displayed right away this time. Sometimes you have to wait for the red orb to start showing up, and it doesn't show up until you dodge a couple of attacks. Watch out for the purple tracking enemies by just going around the outer edge as far away from the boss as possible. I found that this is a pretty reliable strategy. And then attack the boss. Now we're moving on to the final phase. You don't want to get too close to the boss, but the boss will become like a spinning top and come through the walls. You want to be able to walk through the walls that they destroyed, and you want to be able to find the bomb that they're going to place somewhere on the map. So I actually kind of screwed myself a little bit there, and I'm now like further from the bomb than I wanted to be. So we're going to have to do a couple more phases than I really wanted. But it shouldn't be too bad as long as he comes through the wall and I don't get sucked in. I can go through the smoke, grab the red orb, and get ready. For this phase, I really like being near the bottom of the screen. I found that with the 3D effect, it's really hard to dodge on the left and the right. So I just stick near the bottom of the screen and move slightly left and right when I need to dodge these purple guys. And if done correctly, the boss is as good as done. I believe this is what's going to power the green orb to unlock its ability. So if it wasn't obvious, once we powered up the orange orb, it allowed us to use the orange bridges. Once you power up the green orb, it'll allow you to use the green pillars for transport. And you'll notice that that's happening because the green orb here is kind of changing colors and getting very vibrant. So we are going to now just grab the green orb, keep the orange orb inside. I don't actually think you can get it out of there for now. And the ability is that you can come up these pillars when you activate them. You also get an achievement or trophy here once you get this story progress. But you can basically just use these pillars in order to navigate the world now. And some of them will require a little bit of a specific order, but hopefully you can figure it out. There's also these pillars that spin and rotate and move you across from platform to platform. Those are going to be pretty simple as well. Feel free to put the orb inside of the receptacle near the middle. That'll rotate you up to the next area. Take the green orb with you and start riding the platform. Don't get off where you think you're supposed to get off. Keep riding it an extra 2 stops. This will take you to a little bit of a secret area where you can find the moon ancestor for this specific part. Take your green orb and just run down and to the right, finding the ruins. Here, interact with the moon ancestor in order to grab this collectible before moving on. In order to move on, all you want to do is backtrack to the platform you took to ride down here. take 2 stops back to where we came from, and then you can get off and proceed. And then for here, this is a little bit tricky, but not too bad. What you want to do is you want to put the orb in the receptacle to move the bridge from left to right. We're going to need to get the orb to the bridge, but it moves too fast, so we're going to have to do this specific order of events. Grab the orb, go down the pillar next to it. This will freeze the platform for you. You can then go all the way down and use this ghost pillar in order to gain access to the right level. And then you can activate the ghost moving pillar in order to get up onto this bridge and proceed. Continue up the pillars naturally to the top. And then here, what we're going to want to do is go to the top and use the rotating pillar to get across the gaps to the other side. Once here, activate the node, which will open the gate. Use the rotating pillar to get back. Then what we want to do is go down and use the middle ghost pillar to reverse the order of the ghost pillar that can rotate to make it a ghost pillar. And you can now rotate to the center, which will link you to the door we opened. Hopefully, with the gameplay you're witnessing on screen, that was enough of an explanation. It can be a little difficult to explain what to do with only words. Use the launch pad to get yourself across to the next area. Put the orb inside of the receptacle in order to open up the middle here. Once you open up the middle, grab the green orb and put it in the middle receptacle. And you can go through back into the green world for now. Once you're back into the green world, we can now grab the orange orb, and we're going to bring it back with us. We're going to need the orange orb in hand to go across the bridge on the right, but then we're going to need the green orb afterwards. So we're going to swap out the orbs and put the green orb inside of the orange orb. So put the orange orb in the center in order to get the puddle active, and bring your green orb through the dimensions, placing the green orb inside and teleporting back to the hub. This will allow you to pick up the orange orb with the green orb inside and now get across the bridge. You might have done that in a couple of extra steps if you were doing it on your first try, as I did. Open up the next little cocoon type thingy. Place the orange orb in the receptacle in the center to jump through the dimensions. Grabbing the green orb inside and bringing it back with you. You've now gotten it across the bridge. Well, you know, that was the only way to really get it across. Use the green orb to activate the pillar. Activate the node on the top of the pillar and come back down. You now activated a platform that you can use to get across. We're going to need both of the orbs with us in order to do the next puzzle. So bring both of them with you and activate the platform. You can go ahead and, for now, place the orange orb in the receptacle near the top of the screen. Go back for the green orb. Once you leave the platform's gone. We can't backtrack. And then what you want to do is you want to swap the green orb and the orange orb so that the green orb is in the receptacle and the orange orb is in your hand. Then what you can do is you can see that there is a bridge here and that there is a puzzle on the left side. What you want to know is you want to know the answer to that puzzle, which is written and inscribed on the bridge. So here at the bottom, we have pentagon, circle, butterfly. So we're going to go input that. Pentagon, circle, butterfly. And now let's figure out what the next two are, just so we do it in the right order. After the little butterfly, we have a triangle, and then we have the kind of diamond square. So triangle, and then diamond square. This is the correct order. I've done it from bottom up, and this should release our next little flying friend, which we can meet over here on this pillar. Activate him in order to bring him with you, and then we can start heading back kind of in the direction that we came from. But now we have a little light friend that will help us go through some areas we were previously not able to go through. The first of which is this platform on the right-hand side, making sure to bring both orbs with you. Generally, when you're doing these kind of we're going between areas, you want to grab both of the orbs with you when you can. Upon reaching the next area, you'll need both orbs to open up the center object. So we're going to open it up. And now we're going to go and explore the green world with the orange orb in our hands. But now we have a little flying friend that will open up areas for us. So I'm going to go into the green world with the orange orb in hand. All right, so now we can access a couple areas we previously couldn't. Primarily, we want to start heading to the right-hand side here, using this bridge that if we took earlier, it wouldn't really lead anywhere. It kind of leads to a dead end eventually. But now that we have our little light friend, he will clear that dead end for us, and we can continue across this bridge, going to the right basically as far as we can. You can try to go to the left here. This might link back to a central pillar. So you can kind of do this area by going left first and then right later. Or you can go right first, and I think you're forced to go left later. Either way, there is a new teleporter activated here. So if we need to, we can use it. Go to the right and continue using the bridges until you reach this kind of center area. With our new light buddy, we can get through the little fences. And we can launch ourselves into the next area. This puzzle kind of took me a second, but it's really not that bad. We're going to go to the right, and on purpose, our little light friend is going to get swallowed up by the kind of glue trap. He's going to get returned to this pillar over there. We're going to bring our orange orb, launch ourselves off the platform, and we're going to interact with the little tube slide as we're flying over it. This will drop our orange ball into the slide and give us enough time to grab our light buddy. And now we can place ourselves in between the glue traps. And we can now just walk with them in order to make sure we're safe. Getting to safety by going up at the end and activating the pillars. At this point, don't use the launcher. Instead, use this little platform. Activate it, which will circle you back towards your orb. You can now bring your orb and your light buddy with you to the next area. If you use the launcher, you can only bring one at a time. So make sure you grab the orb and platform your way back. You can now reveal this orange bridge in front of us. There's a couple of different paths, but none of them lead to anything interesting other than by continuing kind of by going up and to the right, which will link you here, allowing you to go through the next set of little pillars that are revealed by our light friend, using the launcher to get to the next area. If you want to take a pause and go to load, you are at 43% of the game now, with 2 of the orbs fulfilled. From here, we're actually really close to unlocking our next color orb. Feel free to take a guess in your head which color is next, and then see if you are right. We're going to put down our orb on the little receptacle near the top of the screen. And here, you'll notice there's a glue trap. We'll need to jump over it. So get ready on this platform as it's coming down. And it's all about timing. Just make sure you get all the way over. And if you fail, just grab your light with you and bring it. Just grab your light with you and try again. Then you can walk forward into this next area. And here we can deliver our light buddy into the kind of purple cocoon. There's a little bit of a theme here if you haven't realized with the name and some of the things we're doing. But no spoilers for now. And then walk into the next giant sphere, where we'll unlock our next orb, which is the purple orb. Quite a few things to do with it before we actually unlock its full potential, though. Once you're able to, grab the purple orb, and let's go and use some of these orbs to make some more progress in the game, visit some areas we couldn't visit before. Grab the purple orb and backtrack the way we came. You can then take the purple orb through the teleporter. You'll want to place the purple orb on the outside, go back into the green orb in order to take the orange orb that was settled here, and bring the orange orb back out. We're going to need all 3 orbs, so you don't want one to be stuck inside of another for now. And then we're actually going to swap and make sure that the purple orb is the one in the center. We can then go through the purple puddle and go into the purple dimension, which artistically is not maybe my favorite, but it's pretty sick. We're actually going to jump back out really quick, and we're going to grab any orb, really. I'm going to take the orange one, and we're going to take that orange orb with us into the purple world. Generally, you always want an orb with you if the game allows you to take one. Use the staircase and go all the way down to the bottom, throwing the orb inside of the little slide. You then have to go up. You don't have to go fast, but you can see where the orb travels through the little pipes. And once it gets output at the top there, it will make a little bit of a bridge for us, which we can now cross. You can then take the orange orb off the push plate and continue forward. Here, our goal is to open up this room right here in front of us, but to do that, we're going to need to go and continue off to the right-hand side, past all of this stuff. Now, what you want to do is you want to go up here and throw your orb through the next chute and let it go through. It'll end up on the other side there. We can ignore it for now. And then you want to go and ignore this sphere that allows you to activate the platform at the bottom. Continue along the loop and head into the center, activating the center with the orange orb. So grab that orange orb from the top, activate the center here, and we'll get a new little friend that helps us in some specific ways. He'll follow us around, and he specifically likes receptacles that look like this one down here. He's able to open them up, hop in, and basically power them. He's going to activate this node for us, which when we activate, we'll shoot him out on the bottom platform. And because he follows us, we're going to want to get him across. Wait until he gets himself on the platform at the bottom of the screen here. And then you can bring him over by grabbing the sphere and moving the platform over. He'll meet you on the other side of the bones here and join up with you. You can then lead him on to the left and in front of this kind of rib cage looking room. He should plant himself on the button, opening up the door. After he does that for us, we're going to kindly say thank you, but we're going to grab the orange orb and bring it with us. Don't worry, it won't lock the door. Here you can activate the node and take the elevator down. And then once you take the elevator down, you can go to the teleporter. Before going through the teleporter, actually, you want to go and put the orange orb down on this platform here. And then you want to go through the teleporter to grab the green orb. You can kind of see that we need 2 orbs with us inside of the purple world. So we're going to grab the green orb and head back inside. And you can now activate this platform with both green and orange in order to activate the node in the middle and sail across to the next area. You can ride into the next area with knowledge that the game is only going to get a little bit more confusing, but I promise we'll get you through it, and it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Once you land, you'll notice that green and orange are basically flying away. We're going to basically follow orange, so we're going to go to the right-hand side. And the orange orb will eventually get dropped off for us, and we're going to go ahead and pick it up. There's a couple of things we do want to grab here, but basically we're trying to get some progress. There's going to be a secret collectible in this area. First things first, let's go ahead and grab the orange orb. Working our way down, we're now locked into this area. You will reveal the orange bridge, but you'll be able to go across into the next zone. And then here you'll notice that this activates a bridge. We'll need that for later, because right now it's not going to do anything. And then what we're going to actually do is we're going to throw the orange orb down the slide. This will allow us to go up the stairs past the narrow area, down the other side, and grab the orange orb without, this is the only way to get the orange orb into this far, far right area. And now what we can do is drop the orb into the little sphere here, and we'll get a little walker friend that will follow us around, which is going to be exceptionally useful for us. And then what we want to do is we can basically just go down the steps and activate the bridge for our little walker friend to get across. You may be tempted to go and take the walker friend all the way across, but let's go ahead and grab the little secret by going down to the bottom of the screen to the left of the little slide we used earlier. And here's a puzzle that you can only do with your walker friend, as it requires 2 inputs. And this will be one of the moon ancestors. So put the walker on the left push plate, grab the orb so it deactivates, and then stand on the right push plate. This should activate the little monster moon ancestor inside. You can then place the orb back in the walker and go and accept your little prize. It can be hard to see this, but there's a bridge that leads from the top. Stand underneath it and interact to unlock it. These are optional, but this is a 100% walkthrough, so you're going to get 100% by the time we're done by doing the little extra steps like this. We can then go ahead and start trying to return to the middle area with our little walker friend. And if we stand on this bridge, or let our walker friend come over and activate the bridge, take the orb with you, and then you can now go across the bridge and activate the node at the end. This will deactivate the little fence that's keeping us locked in here. Place the orb back on your walker friend and let him follow you. Go across the bridge back to the center, but go slowly just because he does have to light the way for you, and you can fall under. If you fall under, you'll just have to retry it. But take your walker friend all the way back to where we kind of started here at the top of the screen, and he should automatically get placed into the receptacle here. You can take the orange orb here, so make sure you do, and then go to the left, and you'll be able to activate a bridge that'll get you across and working towards the green orb. Instead of taking the green orb for now, we're going to go back down and we're going to navigate to the left side of the bridge. Here we'll be able to throw our orange orb down into the sewer. This should activate another little walker friend for us. And we'll be able to navigate through the narrow little, space here. And we're going to have to use the green orb to get our orange orb and walker friend back. So go ahead and grab the green orb. Use the ghost pillar to get up top. Then use the ghost pillar to get down to the bottom. Wait until the walker friend is aligned with the pillar at the bottom there to bring him up. He is now stuck there, which is what we want. We're going to use the green orb to get across to the other side. And this is basically a little bit of a timing thing. We're going to drop down, wait for the orb to come to us, and then pick up the orb and the walker to get ourselves on the same level as him. And then we can just make sure he's on the pillar with us, and he'll follow us basically all the way back. If you do want to be careful, you can just switch the orbs with the robot so that you're carrying the orange orb. We actually need the green orb really quick, though. But you can be the bridge designer if you want, and you can let the little walker just carry the green for you for now. So I'm going to swap so that I make the bridge, and then I'm going to allow him to follow me all the way back to that central area. It's a little bit easier to let him follow you than it is for him to create the bridge for you, at least in my opinion. If you bring him all the way back to the center and then input both of the orbs, you should be able to get to the next area. For the next area, we're going to have a little bit of a cutscene, so we're going to have to get through that. So just take your time here and wait it out until you're ready. You want to activate the node to get that process going, by the way. Alright, I'm not exactly sure what that was supposed to signify. Something about, you know, maybe procreation and life, I think was the goal there. Now bear with me here, things might get a little complicated, but it's because I know all of the steps coming up. Essentially, you just want to simplify everything, take the orange orb and head inside of the hub world. We're going to leave the orange orb in here so that we can bring it with us once we make progress. Because to make progress, we need the green orb, which we left back in the purple world. Use that green orb now. You can navigate across the pillars to the next area. And once you're in this next area, you can go back through the teleporter, swap out the orange orb for the green orb, and head back through. We now have the orange orb, which we can use as a bridge to get across. And then we can place this orange orb on this receptacle to open up this cocoon. You probably see where we're going with this, but we're going to be basically doing orbception. So now take this orange orb, we're going to navigate using the bridge back to where we came from. And we need to place the green orb inside of the orange orb. So go through the teleporter, swap out so that orange is in the middle. Then take green into orange. Leave green inside of orange, and then head back through. Swap purple for orange. And go into purple with green in orange. That is a lot of steps, but hopefully you're following along. You can now take orange and place it on this next pedestal to make a puddle. This puddle allows you to now grab green, which is inside of orange, and bring it into the purple area that we couldn't access before. This is why I said this is a little bit of orbception. With green, we can finally get going with the next puzzle by going up and into this pillar here and into the next area. The next area does have the 5 little symbols we'll need to use to get our little light friend. In order to figure out the order, you have to go up this pillar, and then you'll notice the shape in the background. So we're going to start with a pentagon. The second shape is going to be the triangle. So we'll go pentagon, triangle. And if you make a mistake, the pentagon doesn't have to go first. You can do them in any order as long as they're in the correct order. Here we have the butterfly. After the butterfly is the diamond, which leaves the circle with the cross through it, and that should be all 5. This should release our little light friend, which we can meet over on the platform close to where we made that orange puddle. Now this next part can be super tricky. I wouldn't blame you for getting stuck. I've been stuck here for a decent amount of time on my first playthrough. But we're going to need to get this light buddy and bring him over here in order to put down these pillars. And you'll notice that he keeps dying at this little area no matter what you do. So the trick is you're going to put the light buddy inside of the green orb. So put the green orb in the puddle and go through into the green world. Now that you're here, let your light buddy get snatched up by the little glue trap. And then your light buddy will remain here until you're ready to grab him. Head back through the teleport, grab your green orb, and take your green orb with your little light buddy inside of it, past the little glue trap in order to activate this. Once you activate this, grab your green orb to make a green puddle. Head through the puddle to grab your light buddy. And here, this is probably one of the more out there puzzles. If you don't catch on to it quickly enough, you'll be stuck here for a very long time. You can then use your light buddy to get across the lights, and then use the light buddy to get into the blue kind of cocoon. This should reveal 2 orb placements for you, so now we're just going to run 2 quick laps with our 2 orbs. I'm going to grab the green orb here. I don't think you have to put it in the left receptacle. I'm going to put it in the left one, though. And then we're going to have to backtrack a little bit for our orange one. But it's not too bad. Grab the orange one. Head back to where we came from and put it in the receptacle to open the next door. Congratulations. This is a whole little cinematic, but if you want a quick little note, if you were to pause the game and press load, we're at 52%, so just barely over the halfway mark. I think we're right around the hour mark in the video. Here you'll notice that it's almost like our little walker friends are afraid of us. They're gonna just kind of lead the way. So just kind of follow, pick one and follow it. I'm gonna pick the orange one here. I'm going to follow it to this platform. Once it is in position, I can launch it into the next area. We're going to repeat that process for the other little walker friend as well, which is the green one. And in the next area, we also have a collectible we'll want to grab before we move on. So we can launch our little green buddy over. He should walk to the platform, which will generate a bridge for us to get across. If you have a very keen eye, you may already see where we have to go for our secret collectible. Go down and to the right in order to find these little ruin things. This is how you know a collectible is nearby. If you kind of go through the screen here, it's pretty well hidden on this platform. Interact and get the next moon ancestor. This one is called Different Destinations. And now we can actually proceed a little bit further into the game. Go ahead, we're going to kind of continue the process by chasing our little walker friends in their respective directions. Keep walking, and we'll get to this platform. Once they lock it in, you can generate a bridge. If you recognize this bridge ahead of us, you know that a boss battle is about to happen, this time for the purple orb. If you take the orb off the platform, you'll notice that there is kind of a mirror image of you that rotates around the center. And pressing A, which is the interact button, allows you to flip between these two items. And if you interact with one of these plants, it basically sends a missile into the middle, which allows you to damage the boss, which is that little blob there. You don't know that yet. But like I said, this is one of my favorite boss battles in the game, and it is quite difficult, but luckily if you get hit, you just get sent back to the hub world and you kind of keep trying. There isn't a lot at stake. You don't have to be flawless, and the boss battle is a little bit long, so you want to watch out for that. You do want to use the, you know, classic made you look prank where you teleport right out of the boss's path, and this allows you to stay alive really long and damage the boss when you need to. You will notice that there are some blue platforms every now and again. That means that the boss is about to take this platform out, so you can either teleport away or run away. It is going to be completely up to you. Teleporting away is a requirement in some cases just because the boss moves faster than you do. So you won't be able to outrun the boss. Sometimes you will have to teleport away from them. This gets even more difficult later on when you are slowed down by certain items. But for now, all we're trying to do is damage the boss with the little missile plants. So whenever you can grab one, make sure you grab one, and you should burst the first bubble of the boss. This should take you over to the next phase. Make sure you're teleporting away from those blue platforms. Not much has changed for now. And when the boss glows red like he is in the middle, some of the platforms will begin to glow red like a brain. And these platforms are basically extremely slow to walk on. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to teleport away from these platforms to spend as little time as possible on them. You're basically just buying yourself as much time as you can in order to survive and wait for another missile plant. Just keep damaging the boss. And make sure you teleport when you need to stay safe. You'll now have the boss with a shield, so don't touch the missile plant unless the boss's shield gets dropped. The shield gets dropped when they slam the ground, so our goal is basically to activate the flower as soon as they're about to slam, because there isn't a lot of time between that phase and when he comes to grab you. And that boss battle can be quite difficult, but hopefully you got through it, revealing a teleport back into an empowered purple orb. Once the achievement's unlocked, let's start by figuring out what the purple orb does now. It's basically a way to duplicate and teleport itself by interacting with orbs that look like these little mushroom things. So we can pick any mushroom we feel like and then put it down to generate a bridge, go across the bridge and interact with this item again to bring the orb with you across. And this is a mechanic we are now going to explore for the next little while. So going through, this one's pretty linear to start with. You're just going to be basically making your way across all of these little areas. Here you want to go through the little fence. Make sure you put the orb in here to power up the bridge. Don't grab the orb with you. And then here you'll get to a launcher pad where you can launch across into the next area. This one's pretty fun, but what you want to do is interact with this sphere. This sphere moves the little mushroom guy, and you can guide him using the path that is on the wall to bring him down to you. Once you do that, you want to grab him and put the orb inside of this little generator, which lowers this bridge, or this pillar. Then take your little guy and navigate him over to that same pillar, letting go of the sphere, joining him on the pillar, interacting with it to now have a new version of the purple orb with you. Walk forward into the next area. Here what you want to do is you want to go down the steps and place the orb at the bottom. This will allow us to get onto the launcher pad. So we're going to get on the launcher pad with our orb now and start moving forward. You can skip the path to the right. There's nothing there. Instead, go down and then to the left and place your orb in here. Once you do that, it'll activate a bridge. So we can go and take that bridge now. You'll notice two little creatures that are going to kind of follow us into the next area. We're going to use them to solve some of the puzzles. But you'll notice if you try to click this button, it'll launch a pad in the middle there. We can't actually do anything with that yet. So let's lower it. And instead, we're going to go to this sphere over here. And we're going to use this sphere to move our little mushroom guy across these paths. And we're going to get him to come join us in that middle section there. So just make sure you're inputting the correct directions to get him down to where you are. Put him into that middle section onto the platform in the middle and let go. You can then go and press the node and catch your purple orb. With this little orb snatched, we can grab it and take it with us. And you should put it in the receptacle near the node that's an elevator. But what you actually want to do before you do that is take your sphere and you want to navigate with your little mushroom dude a little bit further and kind of go back to where we came from. The reason we're doing this may not be clear immediately, but I will show you why in a second. And you want to park this dude right here in this little corner. I'll show you why now. So now that we have this orb here, we can take the platform down. And you may want to like take this orb with you and, you know, try to go to the next area. And this guy won't let you go through. So you might think it's about timing and you just got to grab one of these orbs and then get through, but he will always beat you. Instead, what you want to do is get snatched on purpose, have this mushroom guy waiting for you, and as soon as he is as far away as possible, you can grab it and make it across. There is a little bit of timing here, which I'm evidently not very good at, but if you time it correctly, you'll be able to make it across, generate a bridge for yourself, and move on. In the next area, feel free to grab an orb off of the wall when you're riding the platform, and then place the orb down in order to open yourself a gate into the next room. This next room can seem a little bit complicated, and it kind of is. We're going to lower down the platform here in the middle. We're going to use the sphere, and we're going to walk our little guy over to that platform. We're going to leave him on the middle of the platform, and we're going to leave the sphere, and we are going to activate the node. I'll show you what happens when you do that, but our little friend will snatch up our orb, take him over to this power pusher, and then we could take this little pillar over here. We actually don't want to do that. As soon as he I'm going to lower this platform so I can explain what we're doing. But basically, as soon as he grabs our purple orb, we want to lower the platform back down. Because this will, if it's left up, it'll create an endless loop where we're not able to make progress. So activate the node, let your purple orb get snatched, immediately activate the node again to lower it, and now you can ride the pillar to the next area. If you don't do this in a specific order, you end up in an endless loop where your purple orb keeps getting shattered and you're never able to complete this next room. Grab the purple orb from the corner here and place it on the right-hand side. This generates a bridge for us, which leads to the next areas. Just follow along the main path. It's pretty obvious where you're supposed to go here. Take one of the purple orbs and place it in the receptacle to open it up. Take the purple orb and place it in the puddle, and then teleport through into the purple world. Take your orange orb with you. Back into the hub world. Back into the purple world. Take your green orb with you. Back into the hub world. Place the green orb, the orange orb, and the purple orb in a triangle here, and you'll be able to activate a pedestal that we previously were not able to activate. Then you can activate this node to continue to the next kind of set of puzzles. If you want to take a quick check, you can pause the game and you'll notice that we are at 63%. Alright, so you'll notice that we're here with the 3 orbs in the 3 directions. We can basically just now complete the 3 areas that each one corresponds to. Let's start with green, go to the right hand side, and teleport across into the green orb puzzle area. The first thing you can do is drop it down the tubes, and then you can go through the narrow section and grab it on the other side of the tubes. You're now basically locked in this area with the orb. That's the whole purpose of that little section. Grab the orb and go up the pillar on the right-hand side, and then head to the top where you can throw the orb down another set of tubes, and then you can follow those tubes and figure out where the orb goes. We'll have to come back with this orb eventually, but we are a couple steps still from there. Now you can grab the orb and place it on the pedestal in this area here. This will spawn us a little buddy. You want to take the buddy and bring him actually to this little push pad. Take the orb off of him so he stays here. And put the orb through the tubes. Push the node to activate the little buddy, which will meet the orb at the bottom there. You can then go down and connect them together. Once they are connected, bring them through the only way you can, which includes taking them down the pillar. You're going to need to interact with the orb to bring it down. You then want to put the green orb back on your little buddy and walk him over to this push button. Once he's there, take the green orb and ride the pillar back up. You can now cycle your way back to your walker, and the pillars are reversed, allowing us to go where we need to go. Take your walker over to the now ghost pillar. Pull out the green orb and bring him to the top. Place your orb back inside of him and walk him over to this area right here. This will start an interesting little kind of cutscene that interacts with you. And I think this is the point where the story kind of completely lost me. And hopefully by the end of it, we can kind of wrap this all together and figure out what the story meant for us. But for now, grab that green orb and let this shadow mantis glide you back across to the central area. Let go of the orb, and then you'll notice that there is a transformation with the green orb happening, and it almost seems like it becomes a planet of sorts. Alright, next up, let's do the orange one, which ends up being the easiest one. Kind of makes sense. It's the first one we did in the game. It kind of made more sense to do this one immediately instead of waiting. But we can go across this orange platform to reveal a node, push the node to 3 times in order to make a new path that links us to the next side of the bridge here. This leads us to a push pad, to another push pad, and then this leads us into the kind of area we need to complete. Activate the elevator that brings you down. Once you're down here, there's a tricky little moon ancestor collectible by going down straight to the bottom and through the little tube. Here, you'll be able to place your orb on a receptacle. This will generate a staircase for you, and then you can walk up to this moon ancestor. I actually missed this one on 2 playthroughs before I found it. You can now go back down the stairs and make sure you grab your orb, backtracking to the area that we came to when we started. And what you want to do is you want to run across and drop your orb on the receptacle at the far end. You may notice that there is a push button which generates some movement in the doors. There's also a bridge, so let's figure out exactly what we need to do. Once you place your orb, you will get a walker friend, and you want to start walking him back towards that push button, but you'll notice that you don't have enough time. So we're actually going to bring our walker friend onto the bridge. We're going to steal the orb from him to make him drop down through the bridge and land on the button, which is a pretty cool little mechanic, I thought. So you're just trying to line up your walker friend so that he's right above the button. When that is correct, grab the orb, run on through, and you can make your way through both doors quite quickly. That is pretty much the only thing you need to do for that solution. You can now activate the node, which lets you now go downstairs and reconnect with your walker pal, and you can now bring him to the end of this puzzle by letting him climb up these stairs that we just generated. As you can tell, this one took us all about 1 or 2 minutes instead of a longer one like the previous one. Same thing here. They're going to have a little shadow mantis alien thingy And then this will allow us to grab the orb and go back to the central area, where we'll be able to drop down and complete 2/3 of that puzzle in the middle. You get a little bit of a preview of what happens in the purple area, which is not that easy. Drop down in order to complete 2/3 of this puzzle. Alright, for the purple one, just ignore the orb at the beginning and run into the top left. Here you can grab a duplicate on the far left and use it to activate the pillar, which will be brought down. Once you can get on the pillar, snatch your orb to take a ride to the top, and then go to the right and find your little walker friend. Now this one's a little bit complicated. It took me quite a while to figure out exactly what the game wanted me to do, but please bear with me. You want to navigate to this area over here, and make sure your walker friend comes with you, and then snatch the orb from him when he's sitting right here. The goal is to get the walker friend onto this platform, which switches the doors. And to do that, we're going to now take the purple orb and we'll put it here. It's basically just to burn it. And you can squeeze through. Once you're here, you can grab this purple orb. And our goal is to use the platform, throw the purple orb down, and then snatch a new purple orb once our walker is on the platform. It's a little bit of action, but if done correctly, it'll look like this. And then just make sure you take the orb and run through. This will give you access to a connector bridge where you can now bring the orb through to the end. This is a fast solution, but I think it's a pretty complicated one if you don't know exactly what you're trying to do. So now what we can do is we can finally complete probably one of the longest chapters in the entire game. This is all under 63% in the loading screen if you're curious. But if you complete all 3 of the orbs and kind of turn them into planets, you will have made more progress in the story than most, I imagine. And we can kind of make our way further and further on into the game. Grab the purple orb and hitch a ride back towards where we came from. Now, once this final planet settles, it will reveal a sphere near the middle here. We can then use this sphere to flip the board in the middle, which reveals something very interesting. It's a teleport, but this is the type of teleport that usually brings you out of an orb, which means even more orbception. We're currently in an orb, and when we jump out of it, we reveal that we are within the white orb. This then allows us to meet this little kind of boss, and we can now use the white orb for some of the next puzzles we'll need to complete. If you are unaware, the next step is that we need a little light friend who will follow us and open the next door for us. When available, grab the white orb and go down the steps. You can explore in this area as much as you want, but to make progress, go to the right-hand side, and you'll be able to find a push pad. Take that push pad across the gap. This leads to another push pad, which you can take across another gap. Follow the staircase up into the center area, placing down the white orb to open up this kind of cocoon. We don't actually want to go through there quite yet, but now that we have it ready, let's go and get our light buddy. Take your white orb, make sure you're bringing it with you, and go down the steps to the bottom of the screen. Going past these will lock you in the next area. With your white orb in hand, you might notice you have to solve another one of these puzzles where you have to input the 5 symbols in the correct order. And you'll notice that your white orb reveals the symbol inside of these large spheres. So the first one we have is butterfly, triangle, pentagon. So let's put that. Butterfly, triangle, pentagon. In fourth, we have the diamond, leaving the circle with the line through it for last. If done in that correct order, you will reveal your light buddy. Place down the white orb to take down the pillars where the buddy will land. And then make sure you bring him with you into the next area. You will need your white orb to exit the area, so make sure you bring it with you. The pillars will drop, bring the white orb into the center, and it will create the white puddle, which will link us back to that planet area we were at before. This time we have our light friend, which we didn't have earlier. You can now walk up to the top of the screen, and this should open the next door for you. Once the door opens, you're free to walk forward, and this is the 70% mark in the loading screen. As the door opens, let's walk on through, and you'll notice that there are these kind of 4 pods with little yellow balls inside of them. They should pretty much automatically open as you walk past them, and then you can make your way to the node and activate it when you're ready. They should be following us automatically. They're on a path that they're supposed to take. And you won't really be able to go anywhere but straight forward. And we're just going to go straight down the bridge here into the next area. You may notice what we're about to be doing, and it's another boss battle, this time to empower the white orb, which actually has a pretty unique ability. And it's what's going to allow us to interact with the little black prisms you may have seen scattered around the map. This boss battle in general is pretty fun. It's a little different. It's very movement based, like all of them, but maybe even a little more so. Go and interact with the yellow orb here in the middle, and this should shoot you into the center. A little bit of a hint as to what this ability will do once we have it. So for this ability, what you can do is you can jump and basically hold your jump to glide across from these platforms to platforms. And you want to do this because we already know from previously that the red is really slow, and the boss will obviously catch us if we stay on the red. You can go around and grab the crystals, which will grab your 4 little light buddies. This will get the kind of armor shield of the boss to open up, and this is the entire boss battle for the most part. You're going to be navigating from platform to platform and then striking the yellow kind of glass when you can. So the boss is the kind of spider boss we had earlier. I'm already in trouble here, but all you want to do is you want to survive, and you want to look out for yellow inside of these circles like the one I'm standing in, and you want the boss to strike it. When he does, his foot will become encased in the glass, and then you can just smack it and he will lose his foot. This boss battle will get a little bit harder and a little bit faster as we go here, and there is this kind of tsunami wave that is traveling through the map now that makes it a little bit harder to navigate exactly where we're going. At this point, we are just waiting for a yellow circle, which now appeared in the left for me. And we're going to wait for him to strike it. And then we can strike his foot, and he's down to 2. He will go down to 1. It is one of my favorite animations in the entire game. We should have a lot of fun when that comes up. In terms of making this boss battle a little harder, they're now making 2 tsunami waves. So you definitely want to be careful and make sure you don't accidentally get hit by one if you don't need to. Just time the tsunami waves with the boss strikes and make sure you don't land on the red for too long, It is really slow to be on there, and the boss will definitely catch you if you spend too long on the red. We found our next little yellowness, and we can strike the boss. So he has 1 foot left now, and he just hops on that 1 foot. And one more little phase to go. We're pretty much done the boss battle. This one is fun, but in my opinion, it's one of the easiest ones in the game, which is kind of surprising considering it's supposed to be a boss battle near the end of the game, right? I do like standing near the middle. It does give you a lot of options as to where you want to go. And we're just waiting for that yellow to appear. It might be at the bottom of the screen here that I don't see it. Yep. And I don't have enough time here, maybe. Barely. There we go. And that's the end of the boss. That is as easy as it gets, in my opinion, for the boss battles. I think that's the only one during the filming process that I got on the first try. During my initial playthrough. I did most of them on the first try. I think I got a little bit lucky. But we can now go through the teleport. And we now have the white orb empowered. If I'm correct, an achievement or trophy should unlock here, but grab the white orb from the middle, and you can stand on these circles, and you'll notice that there are prisms on the left and the right. Hold A to shoot, and you can activate these prisms. That is what the ability is of the white orb. So activate all 6 of the prisms on the platform to get the platform on the go. You can then move to the right-hand side. And we're gonna be doing a couple of puzzles with this aim and fire object. And you'll notice that we can open up gates by interacting with those prisms. Here, you might wonder, oh, you can't shoot directly at the prism. This is a very basic tutorial. We're gonna bank it off of the object here, which bounces it into the prism. Very cool. Here you'll have to also use the mirror, but you'll see that it's not in the correct place. So you'll have to move it with the node in order to hit the prism correctly. Now, because I know the solution to the next puzzle, go back down to the node, interact with the mirror. This allows you to align it with the next prism, and we're going to shoot backwards in order to give ourselves enough time to go onto the platform before it hits. You can then continue forward across the bridge and place the orb on the pedestal. At this point, there will be a lot of symbolism. Your guess is as good as mine at this point as to what all of this means. You can then hop on the platform, grab the white orb, and take a ride. As with Inside, I think the message in this game is very open to interpretation. You can interact with this node in order to move the mirrors. And I'm going to just show you how this works before I just tell you the entire solution, but basically you're going to grab the orb and put it in this shooter, and you'll see that the shooter now is automatic and will bounce off orbs and be able to shoot prisms, but it'll continue over and over and over. So you can, for example, go up this pillar, but you actually need to bring the orb with you. In order to do that, you want to trap one of the orb lights inside of this circuit with the mirrors. So lower down and try to grab one of the orbs to be inside of the middle here, as follows. At this point, you want to go back to the orb and wait for the pillar to be in the down position. grab the orb off of the pedestal, and now we're going to try to get this orb onto the pillar. What we're going to wait for is for the white orb to hit the top right corner, and then we can lower the top two and sprint to the pillar as follows. If done correctly, you'll make it up the pillar with your orb, and now it's as easy as going through the gate that was blocking us earlier. Interact with this little ruin to explode the dark bubble here, and then work your way down the stairs to the left and shoot the prism. Here's a little mini game where you have to shoot the prisms. You do have to shoot them decently quick as they are on a little bit of a timer. If you do take too long, it's not a big deal. You will fall down to the bottom and have to restart. So there's going to be 2 prisms, then there's going to be a stage, as you see on screen, with 3 prisms, and last but not least, there's 4 prisms, but there's also a little bit of a shield that is rotating around the center. Personally, I just like to pick a side and try to time it. It's a lot easier aiming in the same direction than trying to change your aim up every single time and rotate with a specific prism, but once you hit that 4th one, you are basically done. That will complete that little mini game and allow you to move on to the next areas. You do have to interact with that little cutscene for it to start, by the way. Now, this boss will now give us back our green orb. Sorry, almost forgot the colors there. And this is going to be pretty important. You may realize he's going to keep the purple orb and the orange orb for now. So what we can do here is we can hold A to interact, and we can fly to the next area, where you will be using the white orb and the green orb specifically to make some progress. And I actually really like this part of the game. So navigate up the stairs towards the center area. The white orb will place itself in the receptacle, and then you can put the green orb in the dimension hopper. And you'll want to grab the white orb and place it on the right side here. And you'll see what happens, but as the white orb shoots, it'll travel into the green world. So let's go inside the green world and see what's happening. You'll notice that the orbs are now coming through and hitting the prism. And we can ride this elevator back and forth now. And because it's automatic, it'll just keep shooting until we're ready to get across. You can then use the jump pad to get across to the next area, up the ramp, and to the next little teleporter. You'll notice the prism was on the right side of that teleporter, so we're going to move the orb shooter to the left side in order for it to connect. And the same thing will happen here. We're going to be toggling a bridge back and forth for ourselves. Now, as you approach here, you may notice that the prism is at the bottom. You may be tempted to go into the portal and make it shoot down, but there's actually a collectible up here and to the right. So let's grab it. Grab the white orb from the hub world and bring it into the green world with you. Then go diagonally up and to the right. And now we're able to access the moon ancestor. You'll have to shoot the prisms in a specific order. Start with the top one, the bottom one, the left one, the right one. This should activate the moon ancestor in front of us here. It'll extend a bridge, and we can activate it in order to unlock the achievement. Alright, let's head back through the teleporter. You'll notice that we need to shoot down at the prism below us. So put the orb shooter at the top and travel through. This will also toggle a platform. If you're quick enough, you can get it on the first run through. And here you can continue forward. So now run through here and go through the gap up top. And this is a really interesting mechanic that you might get stuck on, actually. But there is a teleporter. The teleporter is linked to the hub world, where the white orb is shooting into the green world. And that is a movable teleporter based on this little switch right here. Now, if you move the teleporter to the middle, you notice that it'll hit the prism and it'll change the pillars interacting with the green orb. And we're going to basically use this feature for a little bit. It's now toggling the pillars for us, and we can travel back into the hub world, and we'll notice that there is a pillar that is now toggled every few seconds that we can ride up on the left-hand side, going through the small break in the wall, which will lead to a push pad that we can ride over to this other area. In this other area, we'll need to get up these pillars on the far right-hand side. To do that, what you want to do is activate the node, which brings down the bridge. And we'll need to grab the green orb up with us, but in a very specific way. First things first, you want to grab the, you want to go inside of the green world. And you want to activate the teleporter so that it's on the far right side. Then head back through the teleporter. And here, what we can do is we can grab the white orb, put it on the elevator, and then grab the green orb and ride it up. Swap the green orb for the white orb, and if you sit on this position shooting into the green orb, you should activate the pillars. So we can do this to time ourselves and go up. Shoot the green orb, run into the pillar to be brought to the top, and then you can shoot the prism up here in order to activate a bridge that leads to the next black blob sphere. Go inside, and there's a receptacle here for the white orb. Now this receptacle powers the middle, but we need the middle for the white orb, which means we also need the green orb. Grab the white orb out and take the staircase down here. This will be able to activate a bridge. This bridge leads us back to the green orb. We can now snatch that up and proceed. We're basically moving to the next area of the hub world. With the green orb in hand, take it all the way to the top and put it in the receptacle to power up the center. With the center powered up, we can go and grab the white orb, and we can now shoot the prism. This will result in that same minigame we did earlier, where we shoot the 2 prisms, 3 prisms, and 4 prisms up on the way to a kind of boss of sorts. This may seem very familiar to you, but this time you'll notice that the prism alternates between 2 positions. So basically, you're trying to shoot in the direction that the prism will rotate into before it gets there, so that your shot lines up with the prism once it's rotated. This one's not too bad. There is a little bit of timing involved. If you miss too many shots, you'll be dropped down to the bottom and have to try again. But once you are gone through the 3 phases, you'll be done this little section. Alright, and with that done, interact with this cinematic to charge the laser. And now we'll be given our next orb back, which will be the orange orb. I found it kind of weird in this game how it gave you the green orb back first and then the orange orb, because I think naturally most players will remember where to go in the orange orb first, because that's where it was chronologically. I think I messed up there by not holding the button, and here you just need to kind of play ping pong with it a little bit in order for it to get accepted into the boss. It will continue to speed up, but eventually the boss will not be able to return your volley. Take the orange orb from the boss and then interact with the platform to fly to the next area of the hub world. A trend in this game, I don't know if you've noticed, is kind of the further we are, the more kind of like cinematics there are where you're taking your hands kind of off the controller. You can then go into the next area where the green and white orb will place themselves to reveal a sphere in the middle where you can now jump between worlds. Alright, so from here we want to grab the white orb and take it into the orange world. You may have noticed this is the first prism you would have seen in the entire game, so you can finally shoot it. And this will activate a little bit of a platform, which we can now ride across. Activate the node to ride the platform across. Jump off, and here you'll activate a new teleporter. You may notice we have to switch from white to green in order to activate the green pillars. So take the green orb back into the orange world. Activate one of the pillars at the top of the screen here for a moon ancestor secret. One of the easiest ones in the game, surprisingly, because you do have to come here. And then at the top of the screen, you can interact with the moon ancestor in order to unlock the achievement or trophy. We're now ready to actually move on with the story a little bit, so ride the pillars back down to where we came from, and you'll notice that there is a platform at the bottom of the screen that requires 2 orbs to go to the next area. So put down the green orb on one side of the platform, head through the teleporter, and grab the white orb for the other side of the platform. If you are enjoying this video, I would highly suggest leaving a like and recommending the video to a friend. It really does help out the channel and makes videos like this possible for other games in the future. Ride the platform across, and you are on your way to the next area. Additionally, for those who feel inclined, don't feel pressured at all, I do have a Patreon page if you want to go above and beyond to support, and I have enabled super thanks on YouTube. If you found the video super useful, you can help out that way, but of course, no pressure. Once you are in the next area, you are ready to go. Alright, so let's start off by grabbing an orb and walking forward. We are working towards another collectible in this area. They're pretty dense at the end of the game here. Just place the white orb down in front of you on one of the pedestals, and let's go and grab the green orb as well. And we can also place down the green orb. This will make the music really, really loud and start a little bit of some action here. Once you open up this portal to another dimension, I'll explain kind of how this mechanic works in a second here. But instead of going through, let's go and grab the collectible by getting the white orb, going down into here and putting the orb on the elevator or the platform. And then we're going to move the platform. We're going to basically be able to skip to this platform by teleporting to this orb, but now it's going to be across on the other side. So to do that, we can now go through the new portal we opened over here, walk through, go forward without an orb, stick to the left, and use the push pad to jump across, and then use the teleporter up top to teleport to the white orb on the other side of that bridge. You can then grab the orb off of the bridge, and instead of going to the left, go up to find a hidden path, where here you'll be able to find yet another moon ancestor. Make sure you grab it before you travel back and go down the natural path, which was to the left there. So you'll want to backtrack, and then here you'll want to go left and up the stairs towards this little pad where you can shoot the prism. This opens up the gate, which lets you through to the next area. Go down the steps to the push pad, get pushed into the next area from here. In this area, you'll need both the white orb and the green orb. This is actually a pretty simple solution. All you have to do is put the white orb on the bridge receptacle, and then you can just carry the green orb through with you. Pretty easy. Now run the green orb back, swap it for the white orb in order to let the green power the bridge. Then what you want to do is take the white orb through the teleporter, put the white orb on the movable bridge, and then move the bridge across. You can then hop back into the puddle, With the green orb activating the bridge, you can now run back across, and we're going to do another bridge jump. Run into the other dimension type thing through the portal door here. I'll try to avoid using the same word for multiple things. Turn up the ramp to the left, use the push pad, and then go through the teleporter at the top of the screen to go into the hub world across the bridge on the other side where the white orb is now waiting, and you can put it in the receptacle. So now just grab the white orb and navigate to the left side of the screen here. You'll be able to shoot a prism that will unlock a staircase. We can now use this staircase to go and run the other orbs into this area. Go back. You will need to leave the white orb here, so just put it at the top where it's going to become a turret. And now we can start running a little bit of a loop down the steps we just opened and around to grab the orange sphere, the green sphere being inside. Run the orange sphere, orb, whatever you want to call it, universe, into the puddle maker. Go inside. We're going to quickly grab the green orb and bring it into the hub world, so to say. Go back into the teleporter, swap out the green orb and the orange orb so that the orange orb is in your hands. But you can leave it here for now. We're going to quickly travel into the green world to make sure that our turret is shooting the prisms. That's what we're going to need. Now that it's shooting the prism, you can teleport back, grab the orange orb, and this will allow you to now use this pillar and ride it to the next area, where you'll activate a orange bridge that previously was not accessible. Once you make it across the bridge, activate the node, which activates some bars being put down, which allows us now to get to a bridge we couldn't previously access. Ride the pillars down. Now, because we want all of the orbs with us where we're going, we need to do a somewhat specific set of things. We're going to put the orange orb to create a orange world, and we're going to put the green and white orb inside of the orange one, so that when we use the orange orb to cross the bridge, we'll have all three on the other side. Hopefully that makes sense. This is where I think a lot of people get stuck, by the way. So now that you put the green and white orb back inside of the orange, teleport out, and now you can cross the bridge with all three of them, which we previously could not do. You can then place the orb in the receptacle to open it up, make the puddle, and then you can go inside and take the orbs out. We'll start with the green one and just put it anywhere here so that we can have access to it. And then go ahead and grab the white one, going back into the hub world with it. And then you can come down the steps here, interact with this circle, and shoot the prism in order to destroy the gate that was blocking us. Now we'll head back up, and I did do one extra little step here by accident, unfortunately, but it's okay. We're gonna go into the green world really quick, and when we're inside of the green world, we're gonna have a turret that is shooting to the right-hand side. So we want our teleporter inside of the green world to be on the far left. Once we have that teleporter in the green world on the far left, we're going to go and put the green orb inside of the orange world. And we're going to put it inside of here on the right-hand side specifically. With the green orb in place, you can grab the white orb to set up a turret over here. And then you can grab the green orb inside of the orange orb and go across the bridge. You'll now notice that the turret is able to shoot interdimensionally if you have the correct setup. And this allows us to travel up this pillar. Getting to the top of this pillar allows us to go across here and link our node back to the central area. We can then go and grab the orange orb, sorry. It's hard to say exactly what you're doing when you're trying to still think of what you're supposed to do. Place the orange orb back in the teleporter here. Place the white orb inside of the orange orb for now. Now that you have both orbs inside, you can travel through the teleporter to grab the orange orb. Navigate with the new path to the left here, allowing us access to the next bridge. You'll then come to the next area here, where you are free to plant the orb to open up the little cocoon. You can then place the orb inside of the puddle maker, go on through, and grab the white orb, placing it in the turret on the other side. Now this next part is a little bit complicated, bear with me. While this is here, it's fine. What we're going to do is actually we're going to grab the green orb out of the orange world. We're basically going to go from green to orange to white, all layered together. So grab the green orb, and this is the first orb we want to change. So go inside of the green orb, and you'll notice that we're going to be pretty much shooting to the left, which means inside of the green world, we want the teleporter to be on the far right side. Bear with me here, okay? This is going to then basically shoot this prism over here that will change the pillars. But we actually want the green orb to be inside of the orange orb, but it's going to be shooting to the left, so make sure we put the green orb inside of the orange orb on the left. Last but not least, we want the dimension of white to be the last one. So let's go ahead and place our tiered orange inside of white. Teleport through and place the orange one. We're going to have to go to the left here. We're going to have to kind of go around using the bridge here. And then you can put the orange one right here. We are going to be shooting to the left of the screen when possible. And with this setup exactly, you can now head back through. You have the nested green inside of orange, inside of white, always shooting to the left. Grab this newly created monster orb and shoot the prism at the bottom of the screen to generate the next staircase. Now, luckily, we can put the turret here, which is going to shoot the opposite way, but it's going to bounce back, and it's going to go through the white, into orange, into green, and then activate the pillars for us. You can then ride the pillar up. You'll notice that you need the white orb up here. So this is a little bit about timing now. We're going to wait for our little break here. Once it's a plasma, wait for the orb to go inside, and then grab it. Once you get to the top, you can shoot the prism and start working your way to the next area. That is complicated. All right, so this puzzle, very complicated, but technically you have all of the tools you need to do it based on other puzzles we have. So you're going to shoot this white orb against these two mirrors, and then you're going to be able to put the orb on here, launch the orb across as the light goes into it, grab the orb, it'll go from white to orange to green, and you'll be able to ride that pillar up. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's try to do this quickly. However, in order for there to be enough time for you to make the run, you're actually going to shoot backwards against this mirror that will then bounce back, giving us enough time to do all of these actions. So you're going to shoot to the left, wait for it to bounce, Run down to place the white orb on the push plate, activate the node so that the orb can catch the light. Then you want to grab the orb and ride the pillar to the top. You know all that based on things we've already done, but putting that all together takes a lot of brain power that I definitely struggled using. Now that we have this, we can go inside of the tiered worlds to grab what we need. So go inside of the white to grab the orange. Pull the orange out by using the bridge. And then take it through the teleporter. Swap the orange in the center. And here we'll be able to grab the green. We actually want all 3 orbs now separated finally, so that we can get even more complicated by adding the purple orb into the mix. Go and grab your green orb to ride the pillar up to the top, activating the ruin to destroy the blob. Ride the pillar back down. This will allow you to now place the green and orange orbs inside of the blob, which will then allow you to activate the white orb to do that little boss minigame where we're going to shoot the 2, 3, and 4 prisms as we ride up. This is obviously going to be the hardest one as it's the last one. So if you just need to practice, that's a-okay. It might take you a couple of runs, but if you fail, you just start at the bottom and try again. In terms of the patterns here, it's kind of a combination of everything we know. There's now a rotating shield in the middle, and we're trying to catch the prisms kind of as they rotate around. You do have to lead your shots, and the prisms, I think, move a little bit more quickly in this version than they did prior. In the second phase, another one of the rotating shield that goes around, and the direction of the prisms will change as you hit them. In the final phase, they are moving more quickly, and they will be further from you, meaning you need to lead your shots more. But it's pretty simple. You just really need to lead those shots. And once you get all 4 in this last phase, we go to the next kind of little boss interaction, I mean. And with that all done, we're now ready to shoot the boss again here with the little laser. And we will be doing a little ping pong action as we did earlier to speed up the orb and make it very quick. This will allow us to get through the little shield we have. It gets pretty quick, actually. This is kind of the fastest thing you need to do in the game in terms of like reaction times, in my opinion. And then this will start a little bit of a cutscene, finally presenting us with all of our orbs, including the purple orb, which we have sorely missed. Although if you wanted the game to get a little bit easier, the purple orb is definitely not the orb to do that. You've noticed the purple orb. The purple orb sections can be done quite quickly, but overall it's a pretty complicated orb to use in a lot of instances. Grab the purple orb, and that should kind of conclude the little cutscene here. My controller is vibrating so loudly you can probably hear it through the microphone. And then use the purple orb to get through the next section. I did also unlock a Daybreak achievement / trophy, which is progressional. Once landed, go into the next area where the 3 colored orbs should place themselves, opening up the center item, and we'll temporarily put our purple orb in the middle. Alright, so let's get started by bringing the white orb into the purple world. You can then move to the left, and you can shoot the prism to activate a bridge of some sorts. This bridge or platform requires all 3 orbs that are not purple. So let's go and grab them. We're going to put the white one down. Then we're going to grab whichever one next. I'll grab orange next. We'll put that down on the platform. We're just going to power a platform that brings us to the next area so that we can complete the next puzzle. Go back into the hub. Grab the green, which for me is the last one for now. and head back through into purple. With all 3 orbs, you can power the platform to get across. Activate the node, and the platform will split up, and it'll move your orbs all over. But that's okay. Once you do settle, you're going to want to find your orange orb first. They're all going to be next to each other and all easily accessible, so really don't worry about it. And what you want to do is, using the white orb, you want to bring the bridge across. And then you want to put the orange orb on the bridge. And then you want to use the white orb to shoot the orange orb across the gap. Place the white orb down. We can now go across the bridge here, which doesn't allow us to take an orb with us. We can snatch the orange orb and put it inside of here. We can also do the same for the green orb, so let's do that really quick. We'll grab the green orb. We'll use the white orb to shoot across the prism. Place the green orb on the platform. Use the white orb to shoot it across. Place the white orb back down, and then use the bridge to now grab the green orb. With the 2 orbs across for now, what we can do is we can also activate this door. This door now works as a portal to the green world, and we're within the purple world with all the orbs. Bear with me. In order to walk through, you will need the orange orb, but we're going to bring the green orb with us. So place the orange orb down here, and then bring the green orb into the orange world so that we can grab both orbs at the same time and traverse that bridge. Green orb goes inside orange world. Orange orb goes with us through this newly opened door and bridge. Once at this bridge, you'll see the 2 receptacles, and you may think that you're kind of stuck. You may want to explore to the right. Follow with me here. Put the orange orb down. Now, the green world is in the orange orb, but we're already in the green world. So we're basically in like a duplication loop. You can go through the bridge up top, and then go through the teleporter. This brings you into the orange world, where you can grab the green orb. Just follow with me. Please, if you've watched the movie Inception, you may have an easier time understanding this game. But you can then go through the middle teleporter. It'll bring you back to your orb, not to your teleporter. And you now have both of the receptacles opened in order to create the next bridge. I hope you followed with me. Before going fully over the bridge, we're actually going to need both of the orbs with us, so let's grab them and relay race them over to open up this new dimensional leaper. And once we do that, we should be able to now be able to grab the green orb, place it in the middle, grab the orange orb, and teleport through. This will take us to this teleporter here, which is down and to the left of where we came. We came from basically the top of this pillar. But now that we have the orange orb down here, we're able to generate this bridge. If you follow the bridge all the way around, you'll activate a node. That node creates a staircase that we can then use. And you'll want to just go all the way back to where we came from. using the teleporter in the corner to go back to the puddle. You can then swap out the orbs. You want to carry the green orb with you up the ramp towards the pillar, change it, and get onto the push pad to launch yourself across. Once you land, go up the ramp here and to the left. Continue up the down the next ramp into the area down below where you can activate the node to pull the platform across. Once you pull the platform across, you can put the orb on the platform and then put the platform back the other way. If it's not immediately obvious, every time we take a teleport in the green world, we're teleporting to the green orb. So this is basically something we did with the white orb earlier, but now we're able to do it with the green orb because we're in the green world with the green orb. So now that we're across the bridge with the green orb, you can take it and you want to go down and to the left here. You'll find this platform that you can then navigate across. And here you'll be able to go into the next area where the doors will lock behind you. We're going to need to figure out a light buddy. Now this one can be pretty difficult to figure out if you don't know what you're looking for. It should be pretty obvious that there are these 5 kind of towers off in the water. And those are going to have symbols on the top of them that correspond with the puzzle solution. And the first pillar we can't see. They're all actually too tall. But what we can see is we can see reflections. So we can see that the second one reflects the triangle. And the fourth one reflects the pentagon. Now for the middle one, we can go down here and see that it reflects the kind of butterfly. And then this one over here reflects the circle with the line through it. Based on those 4, we know that the one we haven't seen is the diamond. So let's go and grab the diamond first. After the diamond, we'll go the second tower, which is the triangle. The third tower is the butterfly, which we know because we interacted with it at the bottom there. We knew the fourth tower was the pentagon, and we know the fifth tower, that's the only one left, is the circle with the line through it. This can be a little bit complicated. You can just copy my answer directly or figure it out for yourself. This should reveal us a small light buddy, which we can now use to exit the area. We are quickly starting to near the end of the game. There's only 3% left. If you check the loading screen, we're at 97%. And there's 1 collectible left, and then about 10 minutes worth of gameplay, and then the credits. So grab this orb and continue back to where you came from, going past the gate you couldn't open. You'll have to run across this bridge, and your buddy will get stuck in the glue trap, which is fine. We're going to go and place the orb at the end of this bridge, grab our light buddy, and then go through the teleporter, which will bring us to our green orb on the other side of the bridge. Grab the orb and open up the gate in front of you. Once you enter this area, the final collectible can be grabbed. You may be tempted to go up the pillar. Instead, go and throw the orb down this very well hidden slide in the back. Now that it's down the slide, you can head down the stairs back to where we came from. Your light buddy will get stuck here. I would recommend that you just grab him, and you'll need him anyways, so this kind of saves you a trip later on. And then use your buddy and go through the teleporter to end up at the end of that slide, where you can walk up the stairs and interact with the final moon ancestor, unlocking an achievement. At this point, you can also check your progress. You probably only have one thing left to do, which is to complete the game. You can then come down the ramp, grab your green orb, circle around the outer edge to the push plate to gain access back to where we came from with the orb, and with our light friend, use the orb to activate the pillar. You can then activate the platform to ride across. There will be a gate here that we can then dissolve using our light, another platform into one of the final areas, and activate your orb to open up the central area. So I actually feel like some of the hardest stuff is already done because these next solutions aren't too bad. Grab the orb and go up the pillar on the right-hand side for now. And what we want to do here is we want to be able to just make sure that this teleporter is activated. Don't go through it. It doesn't do anything right now. But if we activate the pillar, this node right here, sorry, it will move this past this trap here. So at this point, we can now go and activate the pillar here in order to place the orb in the center and then go through the puddle to get across that gap. Now that we're across the gap, we can use our light friend in order to deactivate the bridge here. Now take the teleporter back to your orb. Grab your orb. Go up the pillar and down the bridge. You will lose your light buddy. That's a-okay. And we're just going to continue straight down to this pillar. Ride the pillar down. This will connect you back to somewhere we've been before. And you want to place your orb in the center. Take it through. We're going back for our little light friend. Go up the bridge and activate the node to move the teleporter. Then grab our light friend and use the teleporter to go to where our green orb is currently. We've now made it down here with the light buddy in order to get through this gate on the right. Now, it's honestly been so long you may forget what we were actually even trying to do, so let me try my best to remind you. We're getting our light buddy to open up a gate that was locked like 30 minutes ago. Grab your orange orb and bring your green orb inside of it. You now have a orange orb nested in a green orb nested in an orange orb. Then grab your orange orb and begin across the bridge. And we're linking back to where we came from way earlier. The little light robot will now be able to bring down this gate. So we can now run back to where we came from. Place your orange, green, orange orb on the platform. You can then run across. If you need to make any changes to your orbs, you can do so right here instead of running all the way back. Grab the white orb to shoot your orb across. Then grab your triple layered orb down here. You can use your robot to open up this little gate here. Now, if you even know where we're going to end up in like the purple hub, essentially. And now that we're here, we have all of these little nests. So we're going to basically need to separate everything out. So let's go and grab the green orb from inside of the orange orb first and separate those colors out. Once you've separated those colors out, put the purple in the middle, and we're going to grab the white out of the purple. We are now kind of back to where we started, which was starting in the purple hub and having all 4 of the orbs available to us. The main difference now is that we have our little light, which can be placed right here and activates the kind of final boss door. Once it opens up, you'll see that there are 4 orbs necessary from kind of top to bottom, so let's figure this out. Now you may think because we have 4 orbs, we're just going to input the orbs in the right order. We're actually trying to give it the perfect nested orb. We're going to have orange inside of white, white inside of purple, purple inside of green, and then we can finally deliver it. So let's go and do that. We'll start by putting orange inside of white. Take your orange orb into the white world. And here, you may remember, we've done this before. You can go across the bridge and leave the orb in the corner here. You can then go down the stairs and squeeze through the crack to go back. Our next tier was to put the white inside of the purple. So swap those out and go inside the purple with the white. We're just going to put it down right here in front of us. Go through the teleporter. And the last step was to put the purple into the green. So go into the purple. Go into the green with the purple. Sorry. And then you can put the orb down not far from the teleporter. Teleport back. And you now should have the perfect nested orb. Orange in white, in purple, in green. If done correctly, you will open it up and you can walk on through. This is pretty much the end of the game now. If this video was helpful to you, make sure you do drop a like, share the video with a friend. I would really appreciate it. But just continue walking forward. If you do have an idea about what this game is trying to symbolize, I would very much appreciate you try to explain it to me in the YouTube comments down below. We had a similar conversation when Inside came out, trying to kind of figure out what the game meant to you. Every person is going to interpret this game a little bit differently, and I love to read through the comments to see what people took away from a game like this. For me personally, I absolutely loved the puzzles. As for the meaning and the symbolism, I'm not quite sure I figured it out quite yet. Maybe when I edit this video that you're watching now, I'll understand it a little bit better. Once you reach the top of this tower, hold A to go through the booster pads. And at this point, we are returning kind of to where we started, the circle of life. Maybe that's the meaning. Walk diagonally up and to the right to reveal a platform that wasn't here when we originally started the game. Interact with it. Wait a couple of seconds for the bars to fill. Once your little butterfly friend flies away, we'll see all of the dimensions displayed to us that we got through. Maybe they signify seasons. Who knows? I'm sure someone out there knows. But enjoy the rest of the cutscene as we eventually fade to credits and unlock our final achievement. And congratulations, you are now the owner of a 100%ed game known as COCOON. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Drop a like, share the video with a friend. Super thanks and Patreon are available for those who feel inclined. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Peace.